Welcome all. Strong Arm from Transformers here. My last video based around tech devices that didn't need to exist did pretty well. Not as well as me laughing like a retard about Twitter drama, but pretty well. So we're going back into the ring for round 2, baby. Call me Fat Albert, because I'm coming back for seconds. Now in this video, we're going forward with a single restraint. I spent the majority of my last video ragging on Apple, and while I could spend 20 minutes doing that, hell, I could produce a feature-length film on the reasons why I hate Apple. I don't want to end up as a one-trick pony, so I'm limiting myself to ragging on only one Apple product, and that product will be at the end of the video. With that constraint in mind, we trudge onward. Let us begin. Number 1, McAfee Antivirus. Antivirus software in general is usually a hit or a miss. And having any antivirus on your system is a trade-off. You have to give something to get something. Like giving the IRS your tax money and getting fucked in the ass by your landlord, asking where all the money is, and then I say, oh, the IRS has it, and then the landlord is like, they wouldn't take all your money, that excuse isn't going to work this time, so you have to fight the urge to bludgeon her to death while you hand her a wad of $1,000 bills that you have hidden in your grandma's cookie tin. Fuck the IRS. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, antivirus software. What you give is your privacy and system resources. Now I know the antivirus is supposed to be all about privacy, but do you seriously think that the antiviruses themselves aren't taking the opportunity to scrape your system specs and data for their parent company to use? Like, you'd have to have the IQ of the average Chainsaw Man viewer to think otherwise. And I love Chainsaw Man. Takes one to know one. And sometimes the antivirus in question fucks up, oh, I don't know, stops a specific game from downloading a specific file that makes it so you have to install the entire game again with antivirus disabled. Now, I'm not telling you guys to turn the antivirus off. Antiviruses will make you safe, more safe than not, 9 times out of 10. A good antivirus is damn near essential, especially if you download a lot of files off the internet like I do. But McAfee is different. See? Sit down, ladies and gents. I have a little story to tell. Many moons ago, when I was just a young one, my mother got her first laptop. And it was great, I tell ya. I experienced the classics like Portal and Portal 2 for the first time. I played tons of Minecraft with my friends. It was great. But one day, little old me decided he wanted to play Half-Life. I would start with the first one, and then when I was finished, I would play the second, as you usually do when going down the line of a series. The game was old, I knew that, but I heard so many good things about it. And I was high off of that Portal good stuff, you know. I needed another fix. I needed another Valve game. But I was poor. A broke nigga, so to speak. So instead of asking my mom to crack open her wallet and give me a game that was like $10 at the time, I think, I decided to pirate the game. Call me Monkey D. Luffy, because I was sailing the high seas at a very young age. But then, tragedy. A virus. Installed by yours truly while I was blinded by greed. And might I also add that McAfee was installed on our computer, configured perfectly and everything. Every day prior to the virus being downloaded, I was hounded by ads by McAfee telling me, your computer is healthy. The ads were so fucking annoying, and the worst part is that they persisted beyond the permissions of Windows, meaning that even if I turned the notifications off, these ads still popped up. So about a month before I got the grand idea to pirate this game, I decided to turn the antivirus off and let Microsoft Defender take the wheel. After all, Microsoft Defender didn't hound me with meaningless notifications in the middle of my intense gaming sessions. So what could go wrong? Me. Call me Virgil from Devil May Cry, because I was the storm that was approaching. Upon downloading the cracked version of Half-Life 1, it triggered a chain reaction in my computer that ultimately caused our version of Windows to become completely covered in ads, pop-ups, and I'm pretty sure some dude in Russia had access to all of our files thanks to a remote access Trojan. Thankfully, I was able to reset the computer, and to this day, it sits in my bottom drawer because I'm too paranoid to turn it on and actually use it for anything. My current laptop is better anyway. So you might be asking, wait, wasn't this video supposed to be about useless tech devices? That just sounds like you were just being a dumb kid and paid the price for it. And to that I say, silence. How dare you question the intelligence of the esteemed alpha yogurt male? I hereby sentence you to 1,000 lashes and public humiliation for daring to question your king. But I am a benevolent ruler, and to prove as such, I will be willing to repeal your sentencing if you hit the sub button, like, and comment all hail Plankton. Your leader has spoken. For the next useless tech device, we've got none other than Disney Plus and basically every other streaming service that popped up to compete with Netflix. Remember when you could buy Netflix and Hulu and watch every show for a fraction of the cost it would take on real cable? Yeah? Well, go fuck yourself. Today, everything has a streaming service. Want to watch CP? Netflix. Want to watch Megan Thee Stallion have a canonical twerk-off with She-Hulk? Disney Plus. Want to watch a random show from the early 2000s that's actually goated as hell and that you should definitely go watch? I'm not kidding. Go actually watch Psych. It's really funny. Amazon Prime. Hell, do you know that show Mr. Bertram I made a video of clowning on the first episode of? If you haven't watched that one, you should go do it. But that shit show is exclusive to a streaming service named Daily Wire Plus, which is basically just your average streaming service, except you have the privilege of hearing Ben Shapiro yap about riveting stuff, I know. All of these streaming services, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, fucking Planned Parenthood Plus, all of these have done nothing but fragment the streaming industry and make everything shit. Competition is good, but that's only because worse products and ideas that aren't as good get filtered out naturally. But when every single company is ready to start burning their money to get a share of Netflix's pie, something that not even Disney Plus has really been able to do, it just serves to make our experience using every other app worse. And some shit just doesn't make sense. Sony owns the rights to the Spider-Man universe, but not Spidey himself, meaning they can't use Miles Morales, Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, or any other character that bears the Spider stamp. But they can make mid-movies about a vampire who nobody gives a shit about, a Madam Web movie that doesn't even compare to how cool she looks in the actual comics, and Venom. And okay, hot take, Venom without Spider-Man is actually a pretty cool idea. Like, people will say, how does he become Venom without Spidey? The answer, he's an anti-hero now, as opposed to just being Spidey's villain of the week, which I like. But we can't have Spider-Man on Disney Plus or Netflix because Sony wants to make this shit. Like, I know Disney's a monopoly. The last thing I want is for them to have more net worth. But did you have to give them the keys to something like Spider-Man? Couldn't you have just given them, like, the keys to Captain Marvel or something? Not Miss Marvel. She's actually pretty cool. But couldn't you have just given them, like, X-Men so we can actually get another decent movie instead of just a cameo in Doctor Strange? I'm over this topic, man. If I see one more streaming service rear its ugly head, I'll be making like Strong Arm and transforming, except instead of a police cruiser, I'm going to transform into a Boeing 767-200ER and crash into... my lawyers have advised me not to finish this joke. Next up, we have dating apps. Dating apps have done nothing more than bring out the worst of both genders. I swear to God, bro, the majority of femcels and incels will constantly point to dating apps as proof that the opposite gender is shallow, when in reality, real people who aren't using those apps, so basically every normal man and woman, aren't nearly as critical of the opposite sex as they think. You know the drill by now. Incels be like, women only want tall, rich men, and then femcels will be like, men only want pretty, submissive women. Yeah, no shit. Why would a woman want a shorter, poorer man when all the other guys on the app have to do is to post their height and income and have their DMs full of women? And why would a man scrolling through a dating app pick Becky from the chess club if the girl behind her is Aphrodite in the flesh? This is the problem with dating apps. Human beings aren't built for this. Not all men are rich. In fact, most aren't. Shocker, I know. Most women aren't cover models. We are average people, so we're used to others having average standards. But when a dating app that only takes into account what you could fit into a tiny bio becomes your window into the dating market, rather than going outside and talking to people, it creates more and more people who feel resentful of the system because they aren't blessed with top-tier attractive genetics. All in all, Kyle, the nerdy anime kid, and Becky from the chess club would probably make a cute couple, but they're too busy staring at this window of vanity to look at each other. I know that sounds cheesy as hell. I sound like a boomer or your mom saying, "It's always that damn phone." But just remember, even if you're Apollo or Aphrodite in the flesh, nobody owes you anything. Ugly people are more loyal anyways. Alright, for number 4, we gotta cleanse our palate from the cheesiness of the last section. So for our next little section, we have our sights set on Microsoft Copilot, and also every other virtual assistant that companies are trying to inject AI into, where Microsoft is the most intertwined with these AI shenanigans. So they're gonna be the punching bag. Copilot AI is basically a shittier version of Cortana. Cortana being the Siri knockoff that comes on all Windows devices. The thing I hate the most about Copilot AI is that it installed itself to my computer without my fucking permission. Call this app Cardi B because that shit is just installing itself with or without your fucking consent and robbing you of your system resources while doing it. And I don't think I need to explain why Microsoft thinking they can slip their AI cock in my asshole while I'm sleeping is a cause for frustration. Oh, but surely if they deemed it necessary enough to force install it to your fucking system, it must be a cut above the existing Cortana, right? Fucking barely. All this shitty AI does is everything that Cortana did, a little bit slower because it has to have access to the internet for everything, and it just does simple shit that ChatGPT could do. I don't need ChatGPT to give me a synopsis of an article that could be right, or it could be telling me to kill myself by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge or eating glue on pizza when I could just read the fucking article itself and save myself the headache. When will these companies learn that training AI off of tons of unregulated raw data is not the best way to advance them? These chatbots we have right now are not going to be the rise of Skynet that we predict them to be. Not when I can gaslight ChatGPT into thinking 2 plus 2 equals 5 just by yapping to it for a few minutes. If this is what Skynet is going to be like, then we are going to be as safe as a small white child in a gated neighborhood. I'm not going to continue because dunking on AI slop is just way too fucking easy. Finally, for our last entry on this list, I've been good, I've waited, I've held myself back. Now, I'm able to have my prize, which is getting to shit on Apple for the umpteenth time. Today, my target is the Apple Vision Pro, because holy shit, if you bought this, you are a fucking bot. Like, seriously. VR is already a pretty niche field that's kind of expensive because of its form factor. Companies are tasked with making a computer that's strong enough to run games and that are often pretty demanding. And if it's not the game itself pushing the headset, it's the gyro capabilities of the headset and controllers that are doing it. And all of this has to be light enough to be strapped to your head. So all-in-one VR headsets have not really been all the rage or that profitable at all. And then the Apple Vision Pro showed up. Imagine the Meta Quest 3, except you can't play any games, and it's basically just your phone strapped to your head. That's the Apple Vision Pro. For the small price of a single rent payment, you too can put this piece of metal on your head and do absolutely fucking nothing. Seriously, bro. This shit has so little functionality that for the first time in a long time, I'm genuinely struggling to find a way to clown Apple for this. The Vision Pro doesn't do anything bad. It just doesn't do anything at all. Like, I guess the eye control thing gives it accessibility purposes, so, like, if you're paralyzed from, like, the neck down, you can still, like, watch YouTube and stuff. That's pretty cool. But, like, what do you do with this thing if you're not paralyzed? Even if you have the money to buy this, how do you justify to your wife or your husband that you bought a VR headset that does fuck all? And why not just buy an Oculus Quest for the third of the price? Alright, that's going to be it for me. I'm currently in a holding cell being interrogated by the IRS on where the extra $40,000 in income came from in the December of 2022, as apparently being a cashier doesn't pay that much. Sounds like a skill issue to me, but whatever. Remember to like if you enjoyed, sub if you're new, and remember that I read all comments. And I'll see you next time.